That, yeah, 31,429.
I've got a good 3D view of it up if you ever want me to show it, Alex.
Dexter.
Oh yeah. I mean,
just whenever you want, I can show it. Share screen.
Totally. If for the folks that don't know James's stuff, man, he has a really cool thing. But here we are. We're live on YouTube. Thanks everybody for coming on board. I gotta say, this was I woke everybody up. And last minute calls about an hour ago, but I'll go around the room here, introduce everybody. We have on my screen, I'll start at the bottom. We got Alex Mascioli. He is from Swissborg over in Europe and a host of Kryptonite's killer YouTube channel. So definitely check him out. I got James Andrew. He's coming to us from Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, right on.
Alex is coming to us from London. James is coming to us from Lake Tahoe. He is the CEO of Global Liquidity, as well as the creator of James's Crypto Treehouse, one of the most famous Telegram channels out there. We have John Najarian. He is the co-founder of MarketRebellion.com and also the most charismatic host of CNBC's Halftime Report, Monday through Friday.
I don't know how tough it would be to be the most charismatic in our.
And then we got Ray Youssef, and he is joining us from a diner in Miami. And Ray is saving the world one country at a time. He is the CEO of Paxful, the world's largest P2P Bitcoin exchange. As well as we have our crypto analyst, CJ Rochelle from MarketRebellion.com, and the best hair in crypto, Ryan Gorman. Although that'll be challenged by Alex, I got to tell you, you two are like, crypto models and shit. But guys, wanted to bring everybody on because one of the things that happened this morning when I woke up was Bitcoin has hit a new all-time high, but not only just an all-time high. I mean, we've been hitting these over the course of the last couple of weeks, but we are going through these short parabolic spurts. And now, James, what are we up to in Bitcoin price right now?
31,435 on Binance right now.
That's the high, yeah.
I think it's right up there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's going nuts. I mean, I want to go around and get some perspective on things. I mean, Alex, let's start with you. You guys run a brokerage, a wealth manager app and stuff like that. I know CHSB, Swissborg token's been on fire right now, all-time highs, and you guys are doing well. But how are you seeing the appetite of the retail clients coming into the app now with Bitcoin? Are you getting like a massive wave of new signups and stuff like that from just people hearing about it, wanting to be a part of it?
It's going crazy, Alex. Like we actually tripled volume, we tripled signups. Everything is literally 3x from October itself. So the retail front is definitely starting to boom. And, we're just seeing a lot of people just so interested in Bitcoin. We know that the US printed the equivalent of 20% of all the total supply of US dollar with 3.4 trillion US dollars printed in 2020 alone. Another stimulus package has just been approved for roughly $1 trillion. The US dollar is not looking good. And just to let you know, Alex, how crazy it is. So Swissborg now we're offering what we call the smart yield, where people can get maximum returns on USDC. And we were at 22% APY last week. And my good friends using our products are not even interested. They're not interested in getting 22% APY on USDC. I'm like, guys, come on. They're like, no, I just don't believe in the US dollar anymore. The euro is going through $2.2 trillion printed in 2021 as well. So the euro is not looking good. It's all about Bitcoin, my friend. I mean, this is Bitcoin's time to shine.
100%. Absolutely. I mean, CJ, do you, I don't know if you have the chart up on your computer, but is there a chance you could just run through what the technicals look like for the last couple of days here as we've gone up?
Yeah. I just need to enable the screen sharing and I'll be able to do that.
John, now over to you guys at MarketRebellion.com. You guys just launched your crypto room short while ago, about a month and a half or so ago. and it literally, you launched it just from scratch. I mean, how are you guys, how's the inflow coming from both your legacy options traders that you guys have been mentoring for years, decades? Are they all of a sudden paying attention to it? Like, what are these Nigerian guys talking about digital assets for?
Well, and I'd love it if we were the Pied Pipers, Alex. But CJ and Matt are two of the smartest young guys that we're lucky enough to work with over at Market Rebellion Crypto. And I think what is lost on some people, you guys are far more experts on crypto. I'm a hodler. I invest in it. I own a few of the altcoins as well. I used to be a Bitcoin maximalist, Alex. Thank God I'm not just that anymore. Because a lot of these, a lot of the altcoins have done phenomenal and are running circles even around Bitcoin. But before I get to that, just for real quick, I'd say, when you looked at stock investors and trying to get them to understand options, you've got an installed base in the United States of, call it, 120 million accounts in stocks. They have stock investments in one way or another. And all of a sudden, options are available in 1973, other than through over-the-counter trades like this. So as that grew, all of a sudden we got 5 million, 7 million, maybe 10 million or so option accounts. And obviously, virtually every one of those was a conversion of somebody that had been a stock trader. So they'd already plowed the ground, planted the seeds, and all that fun stuff. Now, this year, of course, because of Robinhood and because people are stuck at home, Robinhood itself opened 12 million accounts or more this year. Not all of them were options, but an awful lot were. And I think when you look at that, Alex, that gives you an idea of the kind of growth that we could see. When I started in options in 1981, we traded maybe between the four exchanges about 350 to 400,000 options a day. Now we're doing 30 million a day. Okay. Now, granted, that's decades and decades, but we all know things move faster now because of online brokers, because of your phone in your hand is your trading platform now, and all that kind of stuff. By the way, check out our app on the App Store, the Market. But what I'd say, Alex, is I think until recently it was kind of lost on a lot of investors in crypto that the access to it was not so much limited, because there were hundreds, if not thousands, of ways that you could get into crypto. But most of them were pretty challenging. All of a sudden you get Square and PayPal opening it up to the world. And then you start seeing MicroStrategy and a host of these other companies, Riot Blockchain, really embracing crypto in the way that they have. And then you understand that there are 270 million PayPal accounts, 270 million. So I already described for you how many stock accounts there were, and then, took the leap into options and all the rest. Now you've got 270 million PayPal accounts that almost instantly have access. They won't all use it, but imagine that as a driver. And that's why I think you're seeing 28,000 breached, 29, 30, 31,000. We know it doesn't go straight line. There'll be adjustments up and down, but I'm just saying that you're going to see a huge adoption wave in 2021 for altcoins and, of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum.
That actually gets to a question I wanted to ask you, John, because you talked a lot about how options impacted institutional adoption of Bitcoin. With the CME launching ETH options, this year, can we expect to see? Do you think we can expect to see uptake to take as long as it did with Bitcoin? Because a lot of people declared Bitcoin options dead on arrival, and that clearly wasn't the case. They just don't understand adoption curves in these types of instruments. Look how long it took for institutions to adopt VIX options, right? Do you think it'll take that long with ETH, or do you think we'll see a much more rapid adoption?
It's a great question, Ryan. And obviously it plays into the strength of what both Alexes are doing, what Ray Youssef is offering, and obviously Mike. There are so many more people that know about these alternatives to Bitcoin. Obviously, ETH being the biggest of those right now, and the ERC20, any of the smart contract stuff, I think is something that kind of gets people interested, because they say, okay, so the use case for this, I can kind of see it now. Once they understand a little, they can kind of see the use case for Ethereum. And then I think a combination of institutional trading and hedging. I mean, we're launching a hedge fund this year, Ryan, for both top 10 coins that, it's not, unfortunately, it's not going to be.
You let that slip on CNBC the other week.
Yeah. When we were, yeah, because Scaramucci, he has a fund of funds, and I think he is likely to be pushing money into our fund. And obviously, our guys have already reached out to Alex. Now they're going to have to reach out to the other Alex as well. But I think the adoption will be much faster, Ryan, with Ethereum options. And you've already got a pretty good base of folks that have tried and used, and I think been pretty happy with, the custody over with the Merc and so forth. CME is a global brand, so it's tough to get a better endorsement other than the institutional money that's flowing. It's tough to get a better endorsement than CME saying, yep, this is a real, whatever you want to call it, commodity, currency, asset, store of wealth. I think all of that plays into people really adopting Ethereum on the Merc's platform for the hedging and so forth.
Now, Ray, with you, now we got Ray over there doing pull-ups and chin-ups. His eggs are getting cold. As he sits at people looking at him all weird in the diner. Ray, you run the largest Bitcoin peer-to-peer platform in the world. You guys have been going at it 5-6 years now. You're conquering countries, the unbanked, building schools in Africa and spreading the Bitcoin message. But with you guys, how popular is Bitcoin becoming in the last couple of months as it reaches these new all-time highs? As the unbanked people say, hey, my native fiat currency is deflating in value at a rapid scale. Digital is the way to go. How are you seeing your signups and your user transactions?
Yeah, so what's happening in peer-to-peer is it's always a great contrast to what's happening in traditional markets, centralized exchanges, etc., brokerages. So here's what's happening. User signups are going up, definitely. I don't have any exact numbers here, but they're definitely swelling up tremendously. And we see that happening whenever the price spikes up. As far as transactions and volume, what's interesting is after 2017, the crash, our volumes, all peer-to-peer volumes, but especially ours, continue to go up steadily, even as everything is collapsing. Now, as the price spikes super high, especially so rapidly, we see something really interesting. And I want to make a distinction between, on the Paxful marketplace, between the buy Bitcoin and the sell Bitcoin. They're almost like two entirely different applications, right? So on the buy side, people are buying Bitcoin. A lot of people on Paxful are buying Bitcoin with gift cards, because gift cards are a digital asset that can be imported anywhere. Gift cards are one of the ways, in fact, it was the way that we got the first Bitcoin into Africa, especially with markets that are very hard to get money at value out of, like Nigeria, etc. So that's how we actually managed to get Bitcoin in circulation in Africa. And now Africa is the leading continent for global cryptocurrency adoption.
Yeah, because you got to remember that not everybody is like us, able to open up a Coinbase account, a Swissborg account, a Voyager account. They don't have access to that. So that's where Ray's company comes into play, and lets all the people who aren't able to do the everyday stuff we're used to get into the action.
So here's what's interesting, Alex. Thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate the point for newbies to understand exactly what's happening here and what we do on the front lines every day. So here's what's happening. On the buy side, a lot of the people that were formerly selling their gift cards to get Bitcoin are like, oh no, hold on a second. I'm not going to sell my gift cards here because the price is going up so high. I'll wait till the price goes down a little bit. Because the gift card, if they have $1,000 Amazon gift card, that's money to them. So they said, oh, let me wait until the price of Bitcoin goes down, because they're anticipating that. On the sell side, people that have the Bitcoin, they think it's going to keep going up a little more, so they're not selling it as much. So on the peer-to-peer side, the trade volume is not going up, corresponding to the, in sync with the user count, et cetera, and in sync with everything we're seeing on centralized exchanges. It's usually when the price goes down that we see the spike of volume. So it's a really interesting contrast to what's happening on centralized exchanges. What does it mean? I think everyone should factor in what happens in peer-to-peer, because it's a much purer metric to retail than what's happening in centralized exchanges. That's a lot of FOMO, that's a lot of whales, that's a lot of manipulation, etc. A lot of institutional, but the peer-to-peer side, retail is saying something slightly different.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, geez, I'm listening to those wonderful words while watching the views of Nigerian pointing out to the snow and wherever landscape he's at. No, it is so true. And that just gets more people involved and makes this this also powerful, but it also helps drive the price up. James, I want to go to you because, you're the CEO of Global Liquidity. You have one of the most fascinating, I don't even know what to call it, but it's
Can I share my screen? You'll see
You
it.
can share your screen. Show us what the order.
It says host has disabled. You have to enable it.
For anyone who hasn't seen this, it's one of the coolest things visualizing.
I've been working a lot
I've
on
seen.
it too, ever since COVID.
I remember the first time I saw it, like, what was it, 3-4 years ago you showed it to me?
Yeah,
James?
2.5, 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wait till you see the visualization on the order books happening right now in Bitcoin through James's
Something like this
program.
Is it up?
Yep.
There it is.
Good.
There it is. So look, we're watching Bitcoin break new highs. Look at this.
Wow. 31.
See, we're coming up to a sell wall at 31,800. Look
Oh
at
my
that.
God, let's do it.
Should we go long or short?
More than $300 since we started the show. This is crazy.
Yeah. Look, by the way, I can turn on the sound here. You hear that? Now look, I can go long or short. Let's say I want a short. Which way you kids go? Make a call. Which way?
Up.
Up. We're in. now our position is being tracked, but there's a wall up there, guys. I'm shorting. So anyway, this is my view of the market. And so what I see here is a lot of retail participation, a lot of bots. So like I have my eyes on all the time lately on this market microstructure because it's what I'm looking at.
Where are you getting that price from?
Oh, by the way, we're gaining. Let's close it out. Boom, we locked that in. All right. So this is what I see is a ton of volatility, a ton of activity, and it's really encouraging to be building this as the data that drives this, the information, the market is on the way, is just getting more and more volatile, more and more interesting. And I thought it was really interesting what John said, something to the effect that I don't know if you said exactly this, but I'm going to take it there, that the trading floor is the mobile phone now. It's the network of the mobile phones. And for years, that wasn't the case. Retail trading was gone, but it's not. And a lot of these people are looking at Bitcoin right now as the thing to be involved with, because as Alex said, the US dollar is not looking so good.
Where do you get that price discovery from? Because I see different prices across all these different exchanges on TradingView. Where do you?
This is just right now. This is Binance BTC USDT.
James, now can you just walk through what
I'll share it again,
with the three-dimensional order book?
What this is? Yeah. Okay, what this is a view inside of the upcoming 1-minute candle. So what we've done here is, instead of where the candle chart is up and down, price movement is left and right. We call this the price plane on the bottom. So down is to the left and up is to the right. And you see the mid, we're at 31,69688 or so. And what we're seeing is simply the level 2 order book, all of the bids and offers that you normally see as the flickering columns of numbers, instead are plotted as heights. So you get the actual geometric shape of the supply demand curve in the front row. And then we sample that every half a second. So you're looking at the supply and the demand change over 30 seconds. And then the red and the green blocks are the actual time and sales, the trades. So really what this is nothing different than you see in any trading interface for the last 20 years. It's just all plotted geometrically now.
That is so cool.
Thank
The
you.
coolest view I've ever seen, man. Yeah, so cool.
It is the coolest. Now, I want to say we just got joined by Steve Ehrlich, the CEO of Voyager.
Oh, great. Say hi to Steve.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hey, Steve.
Steve, what's
How are you?
going on? How are you, buddy?
I am good. It's a happy Saturday morning.
Now, tell us how busy your crew is or your platform is right now on the Saturday morning as we just are peers. We're looking at 32,000.
Yeah, I think I was just looking at my app when I joined. It was I've been looking at it all morning while watching Premier League soccer, just sitting here following that and following Bitcoin, and it's like we're off the charts. We've started to have record days again just over the last 3 or 4 days, where every day it's been building to this. And I don't think it stops here. I think that, we're probably, going to close in on 35,000 at some point in the next few days. We'll probably retrace a little bit off that, but, we're so busy now. So, what always seems to happen on these holiday weekends, if you remember, Thanksgiving Day, we had a big drop and then a rebound and a shift to altcoins for a few hours. It just seems to happen on these holiday weekends. So our team is all working, getting ready. I mean, taking care of customer issues. It's we're as busy as we've ever been. Well, this goes to the point that we all think anyway, and James said it, is that, look, retail traders have a mobile app. They'll trade 24/7, 365. It doesn't matter anymore. The regular stock markets aren't open that long in a day anymore. 9:30. There's not much volume in the pre and post. And this is their opportunity for retail guys to really, really make a mark and really create some wealth for themselves. So, there's no break, 24/7, 365. And we're happy. We're happy to be on the agency side of that and just having customers buy and sell.
Now, I got Rob here. He's the founder of Digital Asset News. And the only guy I know who has a pool in his office.
Best pool I've seen in a while.
Best pool. But now Rob's channel he's a retail guy, right? So he's with the everyday man on the ground and it's very early morning for him out there in Texas. But he has nearly 90,000 people who tune into his channel to listen to what all of us on this screen are saying. We're considered the insiders. But Rob, from your viewers, what is the mindset going through their minds? Because a lot of them listen to you.
Hello, everybody. I'm just happy to be here amongst all these big people. Thanks for having me on. I think it's the same thing that I think the sentiment is all across the board, which is FOMO. I think people see these numbers and they can't believe it. I mean, they just look across the board and go, wow, look at how far Bitcoin is going. Look at how far this is going. It is interesting, though, that Bitcoin is the one that is going up, and that is like one of the main ones besides Dogecoin. So what are you going to do? But I mean,
don't get me started on Dogecoin. Don't.
Yeah, I know. I just missed the boat on that. I don't know what I was thinking. But I mean, these are the great days, and I would just want to say to Steve, thanks so much for putting together a platform that doesn't go down, where all my subscribers who go there, they're super happy with what's going on. They can go there and trade and not have to worry about everything just crashing. So these are the days that we live for, and this is a fantastic time.
Well, I appreciate that.
Alex, this feels like a good time to have CJ go to the chart and explain some of the fundamentals and the TA behind this price surge and where we might have.
Yeah, let's hit the technicals.
Sure thing here. So we can see our platform below. And we talked about yesterday how these nines had kind of been a catalyst for bullish price action. We were kind of expecting a little bit of a pullback today, or at least a catalyst in one direction or the other. You can see how the last previous nine we hit had a little bit of a pullback with some neutral to bullish consolidation before another rise. But I kind of do now agree with what Steve said earlier, how now that we've kind of broken through this barrier, we might actually make a run at higher levels before testing this support level of about 28K. But now you can see from this previous nine of yesterday, we formed very strong support at essentially 29.6. So we'll have to see. But it also goes along with Rob's mantra of just, constant continual FOMO. That's just the mantra in the market right now.
Dennis Vinokurov, the head of research at Bquant, weeks ago was saying that if we were to break past 25K, the next level of resistance would be 36,000 based on options positioning. So I guess that seems to be the prevailing sentiment now going forward. CJ?
Yeah, I haven't looked at that option projections and psychological resistance levels, but it does seem that either 35 or 36K, but ultimately it's tough to say, right? We thought 10K was going to be the absolute top in the last market cycle. It seemed like a very strong psychological resistance level, but sure enough, we surged right through it. So you never know with these mania phases in Bitcoin, and it's tough because we are in price discovery mode. There are tools like Elliott waves or Fibonacci's, things specifically designed to find support and resistance levels when we're in price discovery mode. But until then, yeah, possibly 34, 35K, we'll have to see.
I mean, the sentiment indicators on Trade the Chain right now for Bitcoin are both bullish for daily sentiment and long-term sentiment. And you have relative tweet volume up 43.7% and trading volume up 24.5%. I mean, these signs all point to the bull run continuing, at least in the short term.
Yeah, I mean, where is the next? Is it unrealistic for 100,000? I want to go to the group for. I want to go to the group for this, but everybody here, are you feeling bullish about 100,000 by the end of 2021? Are we going to see that rise?
I'll jump in on that. I know my chief operating officer does a ton of technical analysis projections. A lot of people following him. I think 100,000 might be low by the end of this year. I think we're projecting 200 plus just on this, and we're really bullish, clearly. But he's just done the analysis, and he keeps looking at the technicals, and comes back to that 200,000 plus number.
What do you think is behind that? Like, what will support that? Like additional retail adoption through PayPal and other channels, or is that mostly institutional driven?
I think it's a little of both, actually. I think the institutions are coming in, and we haven't seen the real big wave of that yet, right? So we've seen some guys come in. I think the likelihood of an ETF late in the year is somewhat likely. It's better than it was in the past. I think there's starting to have some regulatory clarity in certain things. So I think by the end of the year, we'll have more of that. So I think you're going to get a lot of institutional parties coming in, more than we're seeing today. Retail
32.
guys coming in, and 32. And then all of a sudden, and the retails keep coming in on this because it's an investment they could feel comfortable making that maybe they couldn't 6 months ago.
One thing that regulators were concerned about back during the last round of Bitcoin ETF applications was the unreliability, the lack of reliability in market data and trading activity. I don't really think that's been solved, though, right? Like, sure, to a degree, but there's still a degree of market manipulation as well. And you can't really rely on data from all of the top 10 exchanges. So I don't see a Bitcoin ETF being approved anytime soon unless something drastically changes in that respect.
Well, sorry.
I was going to say, I'm curious what the rest of the group thinks as well. I just, maybe I'm off base here. I don't see what's been solved in that arena.
Can I ask you a question about that? Is this the claim that the actual order book data and the trade data that gets pushed out via their official feeds is not actually the real record of what has occurred?
Correct. Yeah, like you have wash trading and just order book thickening, and it just trying to make the appearance of liquidity that isn't there at least show up there, and that's the problem ultimately that regulators had with Bitcoin ETF applications.
That's the beauty that Ray doesn't have to deal with, order book accuracy at Paxful.
What's been solved there? What's changed in that respect, in that regard? Anything?
It's a great question. It's true. You see tremendous manipulation on centralized exchanges, everything from stale order sniping, spoofing, layering, front running, back running. And even in DeFi, you still have the same back running and front running, but instead of the centralized exchanges doing it, it's the miners that are doing it as well. So these these continuous limited order books and even these interval batch auctions, as far as DeFi goes, can be highly manipulated. In fact, it'd be easy to say that Bitcoin is probably the most manipulated asset class in the world right now. I don't know how gold and silver would rank, but since they're highly manipulated and kept down artificially by fake shorts on the Forex every morning. This is not my area of expertise, but we all need to be conscious that these things are happening, and we need to use OTC activity as kind of a hedge to what's happening in centralized exchange land. And I think that's where a lot of the insight we get from guys that run their own brokerages, their own OTC desks, can be very, very useful. So let's all keep that in mind, because we, as insiders, do have a responsibility to keep the guys in retail safe and to give them a bit of the truth without the rose-colored glasses.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Alex Basil, this question's for you. With regard to order directions on Swissborg, for instance, you guys are very robobot centric platform. How is the Swissborg bots picking up price discovery and where to direct the order flow to? Is it coming across price discrepancy?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good question, Alex. And I think, just like Voyager, I think the beauty of these platforms that connect to multiple exchanges, first of all, the volume that we share with you is real, right? There are no bots that can inflate, can wash trade, because we're a brokerage platform. We're like a meta exchange on top of the exchanges. So there's no way to fake the volume. So I think that's something that's really cool that comes from both Swissborg and Voyager and platforms that aggregate from multiple order books. But for us, it's mainly because of the price discrepancy. What the algorithms do is they will find order book with the thinnest spread, right? So just track, in real time, which order book is it Binance at the moment in terms of, let's say, BTC to ETH, or is it Kraken that has the thinnest spread, and it'll automatically detect that and then put the highest ratio of the trade within the order books that have the thinnest spread. So that's kind of mainly how it works from a very general standpoint.
Okay, interesting. All right, so everybody's pretty much in agreement that we're looking at about 100,000 by year end, at least have the potential for it then.
Alex, just one thing, if I can jump in. So the reason why I'm very convinced that we'll hit 100,000 is we got to take into consideration that's even under a 2 trillion market cap, which is not even a quarter of gold's market cap, being a superior form of gold 2.0. So I mean, 100K is definitely not exaggerated, and there are people who've become a lot more aggressive. The Winklevoss brothers actually declared 200K the other day and a very strong stance on it. So I think 100K by end of year 2021 is not a far-fetched.
I don't want to go too deep here, but does anybody know if McAfee is okay? I know there was a bet that had to end at the end of December. Is he on crutches right now? Okay, so that being said, are we, James, when it comes to liquidity, are we getting order book dislocation now? Are you seeing any of that from the buy sell side with the price hyper inflating?
The reality is I haven't been tracking that because I've been hyper focused on the Bitcoin USDT order book on Binance all the time, because it's what we're working with for our live product right now. But what I've seen with that is just tremendous amounts of volatility. So everything's always overreacting. So there's a lot of fear and a lot of greed being played out in these order books, as it were, right now.
Yeah, no, totally.
It depends where you're looking, Alex, because like some of the prices right now, so you have 32,300 right now on Bitstamp, and then you have 28,993 in Orlando. I mean, that arbitrage opportunity is massive right there. If
that is true.
Get fees and the hoops and the hurdles to jump over to get it. So there definitely is dislocation.
Steve, are you seeing price dislocation on your books being connected as a broker?
Well, we deal with the bigger guys, right? Big market makers, big exchanges. And I think that's kind of one of the things that sets us apart is we have to have reliable exchanges and market makers. So we're seeing it tighter than what, others are saying, what James is saying. And that's because of who we deal with. I mean, there's exchanges that you can get it at 28 plus, you probably can't get your cash off. So it's just not an optimal solution for a retail business. So we're seeing pretty tight tight books, and tons of volume. I mean, it's just nonstop back and forth.
Yeah. And let me just quickly go to Rob. I don't want to take up too many minutes out of people's precious Saturdays on this holiday weekend. But Rob, where does the everyday guy go from here? You know, when they don't listen to us, they don't get a chance to see certain aspects of the digital asset space. So where do they go from here?
I think everybody's looking for the same thing. They're just looking for reliability. I remember in 2017 when I first got in, there was a lot of not only volatility, but the problems with the exchanges, and that they would just get locked out. And I remember there was a time when even Binance, they weren't taking any more people, and they'd say, hey, we can't take any more signups. And people were buying accounts that had no cryptocurrency in it whatsoever because they couldn't get in. I think these days there's so many options. There's a plethora of options out there. And you've even got somebody like Ray who's doing direct peer-to-peer, which is fantastic, I think. I think right now what people are looking for, of course, just what we talk about reliability and just to get on there and trade and do whatnot. People are moving away. I mean, even though we talk about Coinbase, people will still go to Coinbase. I think what people are also going to look at is PayPal. They don't care that they don't actually own cryptocurrency. They don't care. They just want the price action.
Yeah.
I think just like what John said, people are going to go to PayPal for that exact same reason. And of course, if they would just be smart, Voyager, I mean, you got the thing right, Steve?
Yeah, I lost you there for a sec, but yeah, look, I think our value prop, get up running. We won't shut accounts because there's too many. Trust me, that'll never happen. But I think, they can get up running, funded, boom, quickly, and we are seeing obviously more buys than we are seeing sells, but it is definitely, they're coming fast and furious now because they just want to get in. People want to get in now.
I mean, going from
you guys. We've talked so much about like Bitcoin price projection and 100, 200K. I'm interested to hear your guys' opinion because the Winklevoss threw out the number 75K Ethereum.
For ETH, yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
It's so hard to say with ETH because unlike Bitcoin, the value of ETH is tightly tied to the actual smooth operation of a whole ecosystem of applications. And those are all tied to the performance of a whole bunch of unproven startup teams around the world that haven't done so well so far. And so there's a lot of factors, and whether ETH 2.0 will take off, there's so many factors that determine that I can't say. Unlike Bitcoin, which is there's a basic supply demand economy going on, Ethereum is so much more complex, and it remains to be seen. Can they pull it off?
Yeah, it sounds like that the gas fees can sometimes become like a double-edged sword because the more you increase price, the difficult and more friction ultimately gets created within these applications.
Yes.
Yeah, Uniswap has become terrible at times as far as gas fees are concerned. It sometimes represents 5% of your total swap trade. So it's a little ridiculous. That's why you got to stick to the Swissborgs and Voyagers and Paxfuls of the world.
And Alex, like you're saying, like 1/10 of Uniswap transactions don't even go through, right? Because the gas fees and the execution speed is just not good enough. I don't want to sound like a macro bear here on Ethereum, but Ethereum still technologically has a lot to prove. And Polkadot, some of Elrond, some of the blockchains that are coming up, Polkadot is a massive threat to Ethereum. It's supposed to be complementing Ethereum, but we got to remember, the CTO of Ethereum, Gavin Wood, is actually building Polkadot, right? And they have Kusama as well. And they just received 10 million funding from Binance to build on Polkadot. They received 15 million from Huobi to build on Polkadot. So we got to understand that just like it was mentioned earlier, I couldn't agree more. Ethereum has fierce competition and has serious technological problems. So even if the price movement is positive with options and derivatives, possibly, still technologically and in terms of its market share, it's going to lose a lot of market share next year. So I'm not.
Okay, Alex.
I think there's a chance of that to what Alex is saying because I am a dot bull right now, and I will say
got your dot. Nice.
Yesterday, there's the XRP Army, there's the Link Marines. Yesterday, we created the dot Navy. Anybody wants to join?
I'm a dot man now. Dot man.
Hey, Ray, any chance of a Paxful coin? in the future? You guys ever think of that?
Well, Uncle Sam doesn't like tokens very much, so we have to tread lightly there. But you know, one of my dreams is to one day introduce shares of Paxful in a digital format and to airdrop it to all the people that made our platform great before any of those rich guys on Wall Street. So imagine, you know, 5 million, 10 million, 100 million Africans getting a piece of the hottest IPO around before any of the big guys on Wall Street. That would be a dream come true. And I think it would show the world the true power of cryptocurrency. It's decentralization. What is so beautiful about it? It's beautiful because it can get to the little guy. The retail guy can win out before any of these big guys. And that is one of my dreams, and we'll be working every day to get to that point, but we have to do so in a compliant fashion because the game has changed. We're living in the age of compliance, and our mission is to connect the global South with the golden circle of Western finance, right? And that's only going to happen one way. It's the hard way, but it's the way it has to be.
And Voyager is still going through migration. Am I correct, Steve?
Migration.
Are you going through a token
swap? The token swap. Yeah, we go through a security audit in January, coming out with a revised loyalty program in about 2 to 3 weeks. That's what I was working on today. You know, as this market started to heat up. So yeah, we'll have it'll be out probably by sometime late February. It's got to go through the enhanced, you know, security swap, you know, diligence, which is extremely important this day and age, as we all know.
Any chance you can share some details ahead of time or not?
Got nothing, but I'm gladly, when I'm ready to go, I'll gladly come to you guys and give you guys the first scoop on it. I have no problem doing that.
Well, I think there might be maybe some Nigerian digital nickels in the future. I don't know. There might be some digital asset news tokens. I think digitizing is awesome. But you know, let me go around the room, plug everybody. I don't want to take up too much of your time. We had Alex Mascioli from Swissborg and his amazing YouTube channel, Crypto Nights, on from London. We have John Nigerian coming from a really cool location that's not Chicago, marketrebellion.com. We have Steve Ehrlich, CEO of Wonder App Voyager, awesome crypto broker. We got Rob from Digital Asset News, 85,000 subscribers strong, watching him every day. CJ, amazing crypto analyst who you can see weekly with us from marketrebellion.com crypto. We got James Andrew coming to us from Lake Tahoe, CEO of Global Liquidity, and founder of James's Crypto Treehouse. But James, real quick, what's the URL for Global Liquidity? There's a lot of impressed people in the chat room.
No, right now we're in, hold on.
Oh, your voice.
Yeah, if anybody want, what we're doing, we're in a closed alpha right now. I mean, we're globalliquidity.io, but it just says stealth mode. If you want to interact with the 3D trading interface in the game form now and help me to develop it, I've got a closed alpha group that has about 150 people that are using it every day. Just direct message me on Telegram, James Global Liquidity, or you can find me in the treehouse and message me and I'll invite you.
We'll put your stuff. We'll put your details in the description as well. Cool. Ryan hitting us up from Philly. Thank you, sir. And Ray Youssef, CEO of Paxful, world's largest P2P Bitcoin exchange, coming to us from Miami, from a diner. I'm hungry now. Guys, thank you so much for last minute taking your time out on the Saturday morning to talk Bitcoin.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.